Guys, what's the crack? Bitcoin with Dinny, and it's Dinny here. So broadcasting from northern Spain today, sitting in the camper. Had a great day. I'm down here surfing for the next month or so. Absolutely loving it. But there's three things that most people don't understand and don't get about Bitcoin, and it's going to cause them to miss out. It's going to cause them to miss out big. And that's what I'm going to chat to you about today. And if you think this video is value and you're going to learn something, or you think your friends, family, or just a stranger could do with finding this information and learning this stuff, all I ask is that you hit the like button, throw a comment in, let me know how you're doing. I haven't been online with the community because I was in Belfast and then I was in Amsterdam and then I was traveling to Spain. So it's good to jump on and see you guys, and you can let me know how you're doing, what the weather's like back there in Ireland and or UK or wherever you're catching this from. It's 27 degrees here in Spain today, so it's pretty awesome. And we'll have the crack. So as usual, it's just education. Nothing that you hear here is financial advice. If you like the channel, subscribe, become part of the community, and you'll learn and grow with us. So, three things most people don't get about Bitcoin. When people come to crypto, they think it's a get rich quick. Okay, I did too. When I started, I seen some of my friends get rich quick. Then I seen them all lose their ass, and then I decided, okay, what did I do with fitness? How did I build 7-figure fitness businesses? I didn't try and figure it out myself. I hired coaches and mentors and internships, and I flew all over the world training with experts. And I invested a lot of money, but it allowed me to create, a business, a 7-figure business, which I built myself from scratch. So when I came and I decided to get into crypto, I used the same strategy. I was like, okay, I'm not going to do what my friends did because I seen them make a lot of money, then I seen them lose a lot of money. All right, so I'm going to find the best people in the space that I can afford. I'm going to pay them as much money as I can to get as much information as I can, because education is the only difference between me when I lived in a caravan and me when I'm retired and living in a camper van. Is education. So I got educated, okay? And I've had some great mentors in the space over the years. But these 3 points, if I can sum up Bitcoin and you can understand these 3 points, it's going to put you light years ahead of most people, because most people don't get this. All right, they come to crypto and they think you've got some Bitcoin, you've got some Ethereum, you've got some Cardano. Oh, XRP is going to be the currency of the world. The banks are going to use it and all this other nonsense. That's just advertising and marketing to basically take money off people who don't really know what they're doing. Okay, so I try and separate Bitcoin from everything else, because Bitcoin is the only asset in the whole of crypto that you've a guarantee. You've a guarantee of success in Bitcoin. Okay, or as close to a guarantee as you can get. And the guarantee is that anyone who's held Bitcoin for 4 years has made money. And some people made a lot of money. But that's the minimum holding period on Bitcoin. Now, the past doesn't guarantee the future, but for 13 years, that rule is held steadfast. And it's worth paying attention to. And that's why we build it into our investment thesis in the Bitcoin with Dinny Retire Early Club. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand, all right, and once you're armed with that information, you don't care what happened last year. Because sometimes people I was actually only talking to a Dutch couple there about 10 minutes ago, and they asked me what I'd done, and I said I'd run a consulting company in Bitcoin, and they said, oh, that thing, you lost all your money. And I was like, not quite. But, they're failing to understand. They're thinking Bitcoin is a 1-year trade, but it's a 4-year trade. It's always a 4-year trade. And that's how you should operate in it. Okay? But the first innovation on Bitcoin, okay, and why I think, not financial advice, but I think everyone should own it. It's the same advice that was given out 10 years ago. Everyone should own Bitcoin. There was loads of people on YouTube, they told us we should own it. Many of us didn't see the message, and we didn't get to own Bitcoin. But in hindsight, it would have been a great investment. Well, guess what? The same is true today. In fact, today, it's much less risky to make that trade, to make that bet, to take that position. Much less risky. Like, it might be 100 times less risky. So it's an absolute no-brainer. So everyone who thinks they missed Bitcoin, they shoulda, woulda, coulda, is just like, how do I say this without hurting feelings? But it's a little bit foolish, because in 10 years' time, you're going to have the same thing. You're going to well, I shoulda, woulda, coulda then, and then 10 years later, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and I still didn't do it. And your kids will be just like, idiot you are, Dad! Mom, you're so thick, how'd you miss Bitcoin? Alright? One of the most important things about Bitcoin, it's money with a fixed supply. Okay? Now, gold is money with a somewhat fixed supply. And that's why for 5,000 years, gold's been a monetary asset. It's been something that humans have used as money, okay? And it's still a monetary asset, although we don't use it as a currency. Remember, we understand the difference between currency and money. Well, hopefully you do. If you don't, check out my earlier videos. We talk a lot about that. But it's money with a fixed supply. Now, take your euros, for instance. Your euros don't have a fixed supply. And this is why every year, your euros buy less stuff, okay? When I was a kid, if you're a millionaire, you were very wealthy and you never had to work again. Whereas, now you're a millionaire, you're all right, you're doing all right. But if you don't have a house and you want to drive a nice car, that's most of your million gone if you want to buy a house in Dublin, like, with a bit of a garden. You know, so you're not very wealthy. You still got to go to work forever. So, euros don't have a fixed supply. There's constantly, it's guaranteed in a fiat currency. So euros, dollars, pounds sterling, whatever your currency is, they're guaranteed to expand. Okay? And that means their purchasing power is going to decrease. So that means you're going to have to give more of your euros to buy the same stuff. Okay? Because there's not money with a fixed supply. Whereas I run myself and my family like a hedge fund, and we run on multiple currencies. Okay? We run on euros for living expenses, paying tax and all that other stuff. Okay? But then we also run a Bitcoin standard. And the reason we run a Bitcoin standard is because it's a money with a fixed supply. Okay? So therefore, everything that I want to buy priced in euros, it takes more euros every year to buy them. Everything that I want to buy in my Bitcoin part of my own personal hedge fund, it takes less Bitcoin to buy it. Every 4 years, it takes a hell of a lot less, sometimes 10 times less Bitcoin. Okay? To buy a Lamborghini in Bitcoin used to cost 200,000 Bitcoins. Then it cost 8. I think it got as low as 6 Bitcoins. I'm not sure what it is today. But you can see it went from 200 or 2,000 and 200,000 it was at one stage. So it's taking less Bitcoins to buy stuff. So Bitcoin is increasing its purchasing power. And that's the beauty of a fixed supply asset, or a money with a fixed supply. Because when you measure something that has a fixed supply against something that has an expanding supply being euros, it means that Bitcoin priced in euros, okay, it's always going to trend higher. It's just maths. You know, it's just basic math. And most people can't get this, all right? So there's a reason why Michael Saylor, fairly smart engineer. And if you want to learn, I think, the best people to talk to are engineers. I've been fortunate enough that my brain is an engineering brain. I worked in metal fabrication. I worked for BC Engineering. And as engineers, you just understand practically how stuff works. And economists aren't engineers because they don't abide by Newtonian physics. They bend the rules of nature, which doesn't work, obviously. Okay? So these academics, they can't understand the basics of engineering and the basics of math. And that's how they've screwed up the money so much. All right? Even though they're the academics. But, like, they've made an absolute balls of your money, your wealth, your family's wealth, and the ability for your kids to own a home in the future, if they want to. All right? So I don't trust them people. I don't need to trust them people. That's how I retired early, by not trusting them, by not going along with the system, by getting into the system, creating a strategy. I said 15 years and I'm out, in and out in 15 years. Fortunately, I got the job done in 10. Shameless plug, if you want to learn how to do it, check out Retire Early Club. We teach you everything you need to do to retire early, exit the rat race, if you want to do that. So money with a fixed supply is only going to trend up. So therefore, the price of Bitcoin is only going to trend up with volatility over time. It's just maths, okay? The second really important thing to understand about Bitcoin is it's a money you can own, okay? Is that important? Should I need to own my own money? It's pretty important, okay? Ask the people in Canada who tried to protest that they didn't want the medication, the mandatory medication, and they all got their financial services turned off just because they wanted to do a little protest that they didn't want to be forcefully have to take the medicine, which should be a basic human right in somewhere like Canada. What about them Russians, those baddie Russian people? All right. Well, they all got their financial services turned off. What about the Nigerians? What about the Brazilians? What about the Argentinians? What about the Venezuelans? What about the Turkey? What about the Greeks? You know, how long do you want me to go? By the way, if you think the euro is a secure and stable currency, you should actually pay attention, okay? The European Union possibly is going to fall apart in the next, 5 years if it makes it that long. The euro is in the toilet. Look at the value of it. It's plummeting. All the countries are arguing now because it's an absolute mess. So this is why it's really important to be able to own your own money. Because people in Greece thought they could own their own money, and then they woke up one day. And I have a friend who was impacted by this, woke up one day, banks are closed. Next day, banks are closed. Next day, banks are open. Okay? But a massive amount of his money was gone. And I didn't get it back ever. Okay? So don't wait. You don't wait until you've lost all your money before you decide to learn, okay, it was important to own my money. So you can't own a euro, you can't own a dollar, you can't own a pound sterling. Okay? They're not bearer assets. Okay, you can own a gold coin, you can self-custody a gold coin, you can own a Bitcoin, you can self-custody a Bitcoin or a portion of Bitcoin. So it's money that you can own, and that's really important as we go into this decade with all the financial uncertainty that we have and all the risks in the banking system. There's a reason why, there's a thing called bonds, okay? Hands up if you know what a bond is. Hit the like button if you're learning, by the way. Give it an L, press there, do your daily exercise. I'm absolutely knackered. I've been surfing, cycling, and then I was down the exercise bars earlier. Now I'm not complaining, I'm loving it, but I'm fairly knackered. But hit the like button there if you enjoy this content. Okay. So when it comes to owning your own money, you want to own your money before you need to own your money, is the basics of it. So with Bitcoin, you own the Bitcoin, you can self-custody the Bitcoin, and it's yours and you have no counterparty risk. Okay. What I was saying there about bonds. So if you understand bonds, all bonds, okay, listen to me now. Listen carefully. This is important stuff. All right, your financial advisor isn't going to tell you this. They don't even know this. All right, your money manager. Okay, all the bonds, all right, the bonds are yielding negative. So big sovereign entities are taking 100 million, all right, and they're buying a bond, which is a guarantee for them to lose money. Why are they doing that? Why are they putting 100 million into something where you think you want, if you have 100 million, that's serious collateral, you should earn money on that, you should get a yield on that. But they buy a bond. Why? Because they want the money outside the financial system. They want it out of the banking system, because big money and smart money sees massive risk in our banking system. Now, no one's telling you about this, just like no one told the Greeks, no one told the Vels and Wales, no one told the villains, no one told the Russians. You know, you don't get a warning, all right? So that's why it's important to have some money outside of that system. That's why wealthy people for thousands and thousands of years have owned, guess what? Gold. Wealthy people own gold. Why? Because it's a financial asset outside of the system. All right? So is Bitcoin. But gold will keep you wealthy. Bitcoin will make you wealthy. All right? That's the difference. So if you make a lot of wealth, consider diversifying into gold. And if you don't have any wealth, well, if it was me, I'd take a little bit more risk and I'd own a little bit more Bitcoin because that's a wealth generating asset. Okay, so money that you can own, very important. And the third and final thing that people don't get, but they will, because remember, central bank digital currencies are digital euros, digital dollars, digital sterling, whatever. You're hearing about that talked about now by the talking heads. Okay? China have it. And it's grand and dandy if you're plugged into the matrix. Alright? And you just go around mouth breathing. You don't really know the crack. You don't understand the financial system. You don't understand that life is precious and you should be doing more with your life. And you're just basically a battery for the system. Taxpayer. Alright? But if you're someone who's a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more educated, you understand the world a little bit better, you understand the matrix a little bit better that we live in, it's almost impossible for you in China to exit that system now because of the CBDC. Okay? Because not only do you not own your money, not only is your money not of a fixed supply, okay, but you can't even spend your money. You can only spend it on what you're allowed to spend. And your money has an expiry date. Because the government don't want you saving. If they don't want you sovereign, they want you relying on them for support and handouts and please, please, can I have my money? Please, can I live my life? Please, can I have my freedom? Okay, we don't want you sovereign. You're too powerful then. Okay, we want to take away all your freedoms, all your rights, and all your powers. So, I think there's, whatever the latest is, up to 5 million people out there in prison at the minute. Okay, but you can't even exit the system. All right, that's coming to the Western world. It's inevitable, predictable, and guaranteed. All the governments are working on it now. Do a little bit of digging, find out for yourself. Don't wait until it's too late. How we likely get there is like, well, Danny, who's going to accept that? Well, your average person is plugged into the matrix and haven't a clue what's going on, and it'll be like a free airdrop. Be like, ooh, we got this new government money. Download this app. There's $5,000 on it sitting for you. Ooh, great! I'll have the app at $5,000, and happy days. Now you're in the CBDC. Now you don't own your money, you can't spend your money, and your money doesn't have a fixed supply. Disaster for you. Okay, so this is the beauty of Bitcoin. It's money outside the financial system, except it's not like gold. Gold is money outside the financial system, but it's a fucking coin. I can't mint it down to mine it. I can't go and trade with gold coins, like, because if a 1 ounce gold coin is worth 1,800 quid. But if I have 1,800 euros on a Bitcoin wallet, I can trade with anyone, anywhere in the world, any of my neighbours. You know, we can set up our own little economies, and we can all just have a medium of exchange. It's basically what money is. Money is a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and a store of value. Ask yourself, how the euro's doing at that? Is it a medium of exchange? Yes. Is it a unit of account? Sort of, but everything keeps the account. You keep it to give more of them. Is it a store of value? Jesus, no. It's like the worst. Toilet paper is a better store of value. You guys know, I tell you that all the time. The euro is an actual worst thing that you can store your value in. But when I was poor and struggling, I never understood that. No one taught me this in school. So I used to think, I want to get rich, so therefore I need to get a lot of euros. I'm going to save, live below my means, which is sort of what you got to do to get ahead. But what I didn't understand is you live below your means, and you don't save money, you accumulate assets. That's how you get ahead. That's what we teach in the Bitcoin Medini Retire Early Club, is the asset accumulation with 4 golden rules. That's 3 fingers. 4 golden rules to retire early. It's pretty simple, okay? And live below your means and accumulate assets are our first 2 basic rules. Obviously, we elaborate on that and go into a lot more detail, but we accumulate assets, not currency, because currency is trash. It's just a waste. It's bleeding energy. But for the first half of my life, I tried to accumulate currency, and how I describe it now is like I had a bucket, okay, and every week when I'd done my week of work, I was filling the bucket with a bit of water, and when the bucket got to the very brim, it was like, that's financial freedom, that's enough money for me to retire. However, the fiat system, the system we all are born into and use, the bucket had a massive hole in it. So while I'm there working away and trying to fill the bucket every day, the energy, the money, the water, it's just draining out the bottom of it. So it's impossible to ever exit the rat race. And that's where people go wrong. That's why I had to figure out to get myself in this position so I could retire at 40. And that's what I'm passionate now about, teaching other people to do it, because anyone can do it. It's just a systematic process. It's not woo-woo, it's not airy-fairy. It's just you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. Then you do this, okay? And you guys know the crack at me. No matter where you are, I guarantee I've struggled more. I had a broken back, and I was in a caravan, and I started investing with 30 quid a week. 30! Okay? So don't think not a week, a month. That was my monthly investment, was 30 euros. Okay? So anyone can do it, and I'm passionate. If you want to learn, I'll help you. So they're the 3 things that most people don't understand about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a money with a fixed supply. Okay? Don't focus on the short-term price of Bitcoin. In 4 years' time, I'm pretty confident, about 98%, Bitcoin's going to be priced higher than it is today. 98% certain. I'm probably 100% actually. I didn't want to say 100%. It is, like, it's just maths. Like, it's maths! I like maths, because maths is truth. It's not bullshit like an economist comes out with. That's not maths, that's just crap. Okay? Fiction. So, it's a money with a fixed supply. It's a money that you can own, and no one can take from it. You can take your life easier. You can take your property, your house, your home, your freedom. All that stuff can be taken easier than your Bitcoin. It's the strongest property right of anything that you can own. Even your gold is easier to take from you than your Bitcoin. Okay, so it gives you immense sovereignty. And that's what people need. If you want to retire early, you need to be sovereign. That means you don't have to rely on anyone. You're in control. Okay, so it's a money with a fixed supply. It's a money you can own, and it's a money that you can spend. And that's the beauty of this thing. And that's why it's going to change our world. Because everything that's happening in fiat land is basically an advertisement for Bitcoin. And nobody understands it yet. But they're all going to start to get it. Some people have got it. 2 million people a week get it. Because 2 million Bitcoin wallets are opening up every single week. So 2 million humans start to figure this stuff out. Okay? Kanye West. He's just starting to figure it out. Interviewed yesterday. I'm not ready to speak about Bitcoin yet. I just don't know enough. But he was wearing a hat saying Satoshi Nakamoto. Do you think he's going to get it? He's a smart guy. He's going to do his work. He's going to figure it out. He's going to start talking about it. You know, and then, you know, the people who are plugged into the Matrix will just do what Kanye does anyway, without thinking. And, you know, this capitulation just happened. So this is why it's a huge opportunity. And he was prepared to do a little bit of work. Defer your gratification. Don't go out playing with your buddies. And do a little bit of work. And then you can play with your buddies forever. And, you know, you work hard in the present so that your future is better. And that's what I done. To exit the rat race. In my early 30s, I busted my ass. You know, 60-hour weeks minimum, 100-hour weeks, most weeks. But it was always with a means to an end. I didn't have the nice car, didn't have the nice clothes, didn't have the nice experiences or the holidays, or anything that all my peers were getting, or the nice houses or apartments, or any of that stuff. I was in a fucking caravan. But it was This isn't permanent, Dinny. We're just going to bust our ass here now for 15 years, and then we have the rest of our life with freedom. And while we overestimate what we can get done in a year, we underestimate what we can do in a decade, because it didn't take 15 years. It only took 10, and that is the beauty of it. And I believe today, by using the digital asset, by building everything that I used back then, but applying it to digital asset portfolios, I think anyone can do it in under 10. A hell of a lot under 10, depending on how aggressively you want to apply yourself to it. But anyway, there are the 3 things about Bitcoin. I hope you got some value out of it. I hope you got some value out of this video. Share it with people you love. Remember, the whole point of this thing, it's sharing the Bitcoin love. People need to understand this. People have no idea what's coming in the regular financial system. And all they're seeing is the cost of their electricity going up, the cost of their food going up, the cost of their car insurance going up, the cost of their mortgage going up. Like, mortgages have doubled. I don't know if you guys understand that. You can only afford half as much house now with a repayment, with interest rates that have gone up. Basically what we need to do is, we need to bankrupt loads of people. So loads of young people need to lose their homes and go into debt and basically be black marked now pretty much for most of their life, where they can't own an asset. And that's just the system that we live in. Now, it's not all that bad. Well, it's horrendous. But, like, you know, it could be worse. You know, we're very privileged in the Western world. But still, it doesn't have to be like that. You can be sovereign. You can figure this stuff out. You can do a little bit of work. Finance by design is made seem really complicated, but it's not. We're not. And the reason I'm passionate about sharing it in layman's terms, because I'm a layman. I'm no academic. No genius, thank God. If I ever go to a quiz, I hate going to a quiz because I'm the biggest idiot at the table. I don't remember stuff. I don't need to remember it. I've got a mobile phone. It can remember the stuff for me. Okay? But if I can figure this out, anyone can figure it out. It's just about action. Just about taking action and moving forward and just understanding, thinking for yourself. And what I say to people who are on the fence about doing any of my courses, okay? You only think you know what they are or what we do in the course. And thinking is one of the biggest problems in people's life. Because we think ourselves out of action, it just holds us back. Your mind is your biggest enemy. As much as your external circumstances, you think it's holding you back. No, it's your mind. Okay, and that's what I had to learn. That's why a lot of my mentors taught me how to meditate, and that's why it's a skill that we use and teach. It's so important to be able to control your mind. All right, but if you're interested in any of our courses, what I say to you is, sign up to Retire Early Club. It's a money-back guarantee. You've nothing to lose. But from the outside, you can only think you know what we do. It's not until you get to the inside you can actually see what we do. And there's a reason we've had 0 refunds. Now, you could be the first, okay, if you don't think it's going to retire you early. But until you get to the inside and actually sign up for the course and you experience what we do, and you come into the community, you come into the WhatsApp group and the live workshops, and you get all the trainings and learnings and audiobooks that we provide and courses that we provide and tons of value, you see, you don't really know. You just think you know. So stop thinking, start doing. All right, Dinny out, guys. Thanks for hitting the like button, hit the share button, and looking forward to catching you soon. I'm going surfing.